San Diego, a beautiful city by the bay with breathtaking scenery and beautiful landscapes. But beneath and underneath all of this beauty lies a story that I'm going to bring to you. A story that I think is heartbreaking. A story, according to two mothers of young children, of city officials who cast them onto the street and their two young children in temperatures in the 40s last night. They had to sleep here in this park in a tent. Oh my goodness. Come on and join me while I speak to these two mothers and share their story with you. Well, let's hear directly from the people involved who were kicked out onto the street with their children last night. So, what is your name?
Lisa.
And what is your name?
June.
And you both have children?
Yes.
And your son is how old?
My son is 10.
And your son is how old?
He's 12 today.
12 today. So today is his birthday. And he spent the night before his birthday sleeping in a tent. Not having fun camping, but sleeping in a tent because your vehicle was impounded. So I'll start with you, Lisa. Can you tell me exactly what happened?
Like I said, I was in the restroom and this young man came in and said, hey, you know, I think they're going to tow my mom's car. When I walked out, that's when there was police officers lined up behind us. And I think the tow trucks were already there, weren't they?
No.
Or were they coming in? Oh, okay, I apologize. So there was both behind us, and then we were interviewed. They asked me for my license, my registration. I gave them the paperwork that I have. I explained to them that I'm working on it.
So your registration right now was expired?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because you don't have the funds to pay for it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and what happened with you? You two were together, so what happened with you?
Well, I met Lisa not too long ago, and we have been parking next to each other for a couple of nights. And
For safety reasons?
we feel
Right.
safest together. And the cop came up behind me and asked me about registration and why is it so expired. I tried to explain. He really wasn't listening, and he's just kind of cut me off. I was trying to explain what he was treating me like it was a sob story or something, basically, and cut me off and said, well, we're gonna have to tow your car tonight.
Now, did you both tell the officers that you had young children?
Yes. They saw them.
Say they saw the children?
Yes.
I told him it was my son's birthday, to please don't do this.
And I begged them to please not do it because my son was sick.
And what did they say?
They just basically said, well, how many more chances are we supposed to give you?
Oh my goodness.
And it wasn't even, they never even gave us a chance to begin with. So it wasn't like, oh, we'd been there and they've been telling us over and over and over again to get our registration taken care of. Not one time did they ask nicely, will you please get this taken care of by this date?
Mm-hmm.
No. They said, no, that's it. We're towing you right now. We don't care how far out of date. We don't care how much, you know, what steps you've taken. They just...
So did you tell them that by them towing your vehicles that your children were going to be out on the street and in the elements?
Yes,
Yes.
we did.
They
And
cut
they,
us off and turned their heads.
Yep, they cut us off and just kept on doing their job. And I asked for the sergeant because I wanted to know why, you know, we were being singled out. And of course it took forever for the sergeant to get there. And then, you know, basically he stood his ground and he says, well, you know, you knew this was, driving is a privilege, not a right. And I'm sorry, but I disagree with that because I have a disabled child. That is my vehicle to transport my child.
I hear coughing right now.
Yeah.
Which was probably made worse by having to sleep in a tent last night.
Definitely. It was freezing. I mean, the ground was, and all of our belongings got wet. So we're in the tent and they're wet and it's already cold and we're freezing.
So you slept here in a tent last night, you and your children?
My son and I slept in the tent and they slept outside.
You slept outside?
Yes.
We slept in this.
Not
And
by
I slept
choice.
on top of the luggage.
Not by
Next
choice.
to
I
him.
did try to coerce him to go in with Io,
Uh-huh.
but he didn't want to. He wanted to be with his mom. But you know what?
Oh
we
my
were up all
gosh.
night making sure that they were, trying to stoke whatever little fire that was left that we didn't start. It was already there. So we
Uh-huh.
were trying to stoke it to keep it a little bit warmer around the area. She was up all night. I was up all night. My poor cat was crying all night long.
So do you have the funds to pay your registration or get your vehicles back?
I will not be able to pay my registration until next month, but if I don't get it back by Monday,
The impound fees.
The impound fees are going to be impossible, so I'll probably never get my vehicle back.
And what about you?
Well, our registration is totally different. Hers is expired,
February.
Yeah, February. Mine's been expired for a little over a year.
And you were saying you had ticket after ticket after ticket, so now you have to pay your tickets before you can even pay your registration, and then the impound fees.
Exactly.
So basically, unless there's some intervention, you're without your vehicle and without your home.
Exactly.
Right, and driving is not a privilege. That's our home. Is home
it's our home.
a privilege too?
I mean,
So when the
They already took
officers
my home.
when the officers took your vehicles, you said, Lisa, that you asked them to contact someone. Who was it that you asked them to
the
contact?
HOT team, which is the homeless response, or the homeless outreach team.
And did they come out?
They did, yes.
And what did they say?
They called a couple places and asked if I could get on a top bunk, which I can't. I'm disabled. So, but she said, "Oh, I can," right away. Because we're like, okay, we'll try to work with it. And then, he went away and he said, "Nope, I don't have anything for you," because we do have animals. These are
Right.
all these animals are emotional support animals.
Right.
They're not just to have for pets.
Right.
And so, they don't have space like that. The wait lists are ridiculous, and
You said that the officers left you a number with the ticket, but when you called, there was no space available at any of the places you called.
Well, the ticket was from prior. The parking ticket was from prior.
Okay.
They left me the sergeant's name because we were wondering, okay, so who else is going to come razz us out of our area that we're freezing in?
Mhm.
We're in the middle of the parking lot because I know the sprinklers are going to come on. We don't want to get our stuff wet. So we're in the middle of the parking lot and we have nowhere to go because the HOT team couldn't find a shelter.
So you were at Mariners Point, and how did you get over here?
We had another lady who had a truck pack all of our stuff in her truck and bring us over here.
So what are you going to do?
What we've been doing all day is just calling people and asking for help, and the HOT team was supposed to come today too, like around 1 o'clock, and they never showed up because it's Veterans Day, so
Right.
There's only one working. But when it's 40 degrees at night, your children are freezing and they're sick already,
Oh
They're
my
just
gosh.
it's not the help that they say that they're giving is not non-existent, because the wait list, the shortage of housing, the shortage of funds, miscommunications, missing your social worker that knows that you're at Mariners Point because you just got your car towed.
Mhm.
So how can you meet up with your social worker
Right.
or case manager when you're not there?
Right. So you were saying that you did reach out to someone who used to be your neighbor that works for Voice of San Diego,
Correct.
and he was just appalled at what was happening to you.
Last night was reading some articles on the housing and the homeless situation in San Diego, and I scrolled down and saw a picture of him and thought he looked familiar, and realized that he was my neighbor a year ago before we got evicted from our home of 10 years. And so I contacted him, and he just got right on it and called the Housing Commission and said he would like to tell our story.
So supposedly they're going to get you a room for tonight.
Right.
So you're waiting for someone to hopefully come pick you up tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, I'm going to keep my viewers posted on what's happening with this. And I'm going to say this, if they don't get you a room for tonight, I'm going to try and find and pay for a room for you tonight.
Thank you.
Because this is just ridiculous. And you know, all the city council people who just ran and got elected, maybe should be a priority, finding housing for single moms and their children who city officials are forcing onto the streets in cold weather at night. But Globies, I will keep you posted on this story. Beautiful San Diego may not be so beautiful when you pull back the layers. I'll talk to you later, Globies.